Hi, I'm Tinny from Mini Bowl Design, and today I'm going to talk about a bunch of different things that I've learned in my quest to lighten my pack. Let me see. Let me start out by saying that I've got a summer pack weight, a summer base load pack weight. That would be hiking when the weather never gets down below 60 at night. And this is a base load. This is without any consumables like food or fuel. I've got it down to just about 5 pounds. And that seems about right because Redwood Outdoors, talking to him, he said 4.5 pounds was about the ultimate place for him for comfort versus weight. Any less than 4.5, and he started sacrificing comfort and safety, and any more than 4.5, and he basically wasn't improving his comfort that much for the weight. 4.5 was the sweet spot. Well, I can see that, and if I wanted to do a couple more things, like ditch my water filter and go to a Sterapen, which I'll get to later, I could easily achieve 4.5 pounds. And people say, well, yeah, but no, I'm not going to be sleeping on the ground on a 3/16 foam pad with an emergency blanket over me. I'm talking sleeping in a hammock with 11 by 9 Cuban fiber tarp over the top of me, with a Thermalite blanket on me. Remember, we're talking 60, 70 degree nights. With a Thermalite blanket over me, laying in a very comfortable, fairly expensive hammock, with a good tarp over me to keep me out of the weather, and a good suspension system, whoopee slings and everything else, and eating, cooking on a good stove, and having plenty of clothes if it rains, having a rain jacket, and rain pants, wind jacket, and first aid kit, everything else you need, not sacrificing anything at 5 pounds. I was a little bit amazed myself, and it was really expensive, but nonetheless, I've achieved that. Some of the stuff hasn't come yet, but I have the stated weight to go by, and it comes to like 5.1 pounds. Now, if I want to go to the fall, when it's going to drop down into the 40s, you can add about another 1.5 pounds to that. If you really wanted to deluxe it out, another 2 pounds. And then I would be good down to 40 degrees. Okay, just an example of some of the things. Now, it would be tempting to ditch your expensive raincoat with a pit vest and everything and just buy one of these plastic ponchos. You could do that, but you're going to sweat like a hog in a plastic poncho because they don't breathe. And the first limb you come to, it's going to rip it. And they're kind of cumbersome. They're one size fits all. What really is an eye-opener is, they weigh 4.5 to 5 ounces, sometimes 6 ounces, and you can buy a breathable, full raincoat with pit vents that's completely waterproof and durable that weighs 4.5 ounces. You can go to 3.5 ounces, but they're not certified rainproof. They're okay for light rain, but not a heavy rain. And you can go to 2.8 ounces, but that's really just a wind shirt with a hood. So, that's something to take into account. I would go with the 4.5 ounces because I want a raincoat that absolutely is going to keep the rain off me if that's what I desire. Now, I was talking to Redwood Outdoors again about raincoats, and here's an interesting thing that I kind of knew all the time but never really paid attention to was, if you're out in the summertime and it's, say, 75, 80 degrees and humid, and it's raining, you've got two options. One is you can put on a raincoat and stay dry. But if you're hiking with a raincoat on, I don't care how well it breathes, you're going to sweat really badly because that's just the inherent way raincoats are. They breathe, but on an 80-degree day or a 75-degree day with physical exercise, you're going to sweat really bad, and your clothes, when you take that raincoat off, are going to be soaked. Your chest, your back, you're going to be soaked. And plus, you're going to be miserable the whole time you're hiking because you're going to be too hot. The other option is to just put on a synthetic shirt and pants, or synthetic shirt and shorts, and just, if it's 75, 80 degrees, it's a warm rain, it's humid, just let the rain run on you. And when you get where you're going and get under cover, take the shirt and the shorts off and put on something dry. You'll hike a lot better, you'll be a lot more comfortable, and in the end you won't be any wetter than if you'd worn the raincoat because of the sweat factor. And that's just something you learn over time. And Redwood Outdoors agrees with me that in a warm rain, raincoat's just extra weight you're not going to use. But if you're going to be in an environment where it gets cool, you definitely want a raincoat that can keep you dry. Because if you don't, if it drops down into the 50s and it's raining, and you haven't got something to keep you dry, you're going to be into hypothermia before you know it. So that's just something to think about. Another thing is two more things I want to pack in here. One is water filters. Now, obviously a water filter is one of those things that is a very important thing in your pack, because without it, you could get sick. On the other hand, it's a cumbersome thing. They're heavy and they're mechanical and they're prone to failure, and they plug up fairly easily, and they're kind of a pain in the butt. So some people on YouTube, which, by the way, 75% of everything you see on YouTube is incorrect. So there's some people that are advocating buying these 1 micron filters off of eBay that are made to filter biodiesel and just using one of them. It's because they have a flow rate of like 3 to 6 liters a minute. I mean, they don't weigh anything. Fine. Now stop and think about that a minute. If you could buy a bag filter that would have a flow rate of 3 liters a minute and was 1 micron certified absolute, why in the world would you carry a water filter? You'd have to be nuts. Everybody would just carry one of the bags, which, by the way, are between $1.50 and $5 a piece, and that would be that. You'd have certified 1 micron water. You filter out everything that a regular filter will filter out, and you'd be good to go. The answer to that is they're not 1 micron. They're 1 to 100 microns. And the reason they're rated that way, they're like a t-shirt with a bunch of half-inch holes cut in it. If you put water through it, a lot of big stuff is going through the bigger holes, but some of the really small stuff will be trapped in the fabric. So the shirt would be from, you know, sand-sized stuff all the way up to marbles. It would get some of each, but if you really wanted to filter the stuff out, the bigger holes are going to let the big stuff through, and it's going to be totally useless to you. But it would be rated from 1 to 100 microns like the filters. So these bag filters, the reason they have such a phenomenal flow rate is because they've got all kinds of big holes in them along with little holes that lets everything through. Everything. And they don't filter out anything except the sediment in the water. You know, the water comes out looking fairly clear, but it's right full of bugs and protozoa and all kinds of nasty stuff. So they're not viable, and if you use them, you're probably going to get sick if you run into some dirty water. Now, here's my point on that. If you get one of those bags, it will filter the water out so it visibly is clear, and then if you take a SteriPen to it, you're all set. So that might be a way to go, because I think a SteriPen is like, I don't know, 2, 3, it's like under 4 ounces, and the filter weighs virtually nothing. So that would be a way to save weight over my filter is 11 ounces now, you know, a lot of them are a pound. That would be a good way to save like probably 10 ounces by going with a SteriPen. And my last point is, unfortunately, for Backpacking Magazine, Hiram Cook did a video on an article that he had in Backpacker Magazine. I actually went on the internet. I don't subscribe to Backpacker Magazine, but you can easily go there and read the August issue of Backpacker Magazine, August 2011. And in the article of 10 ways to lighten your load to go ultra light, I think number 3, somewhere in 3 or 4 was ways to lighten your cooking gear. And one thing they said was to paint the bottom of your pots black with Rust-Oleum stove paint. And Hiram did that and did a boil with and without. And it turned out that the one that was painted took a little bit longer to boil than the one that was shiny. So Backpacker Magazine, once again, doesn't know what they're talking about. That's pretty common. Now, if you take those pots and paint one black and leave one shiny and put them in the sun, yep, the one that's painted black will pick up the radiant heat from the sun and heat up much faster than the shiny one. It's amazing how much difference, probably 30–40%. But when you put those down and put heat underneath them, it's a totally different kind of heat. It's not radiant heat, and it has little or no effect on the boil rate. So Backpacker Magazine, you know, they do that a lot. And if they do that with something that simple, it's pretty hard to believe anything they print. You know, they lose that credibility because they do that all the time. So I I guess that's my video for right now. When I get all the stuff and get the 5-pound pack together, I'll do a video and take it all apart and we can discuss everything in it. But right now I got probably a week before the last couple items shows up. But I do have the pack, and I think you'll get a kick out of that. Workable pack, but kind of unique. So I'm Tinny from Mini Bull Design. Get out and hike, take a friend, enjoy the great outdoors, and more important than anything, be nice, leave no trace, and have a really great day. Bye-bye.